Good afternoon, students. This is Kavya. In today's class, I will explain you VSB, which is vestigial sideband modulation, and another concept is FDM, frequency division multiplexing. So first, I will explain you vestigial sideband modulation. So in previous class, I explained you DSBSC, which means double sideband suppressed carrier, and SSB, which means a single sideband modulation. Right? In today's class, we will see what is a vestigial sideband modulation. So in DSBSC, we will see two sidebands, right? One is upper sideband USB and another one is LSB, lower sideband, right? So those two bands are used for the transmission purpose. In SSB, single sideband modulation, only one sideband is used for the transmission, right? And SSB is most suitable for the voice transmission of the voice signal, and DSB is much simpler, but it requires a twice the signal bandwidth. So that's about the DSBSC and SSB. Now, what do you mean by a VSB? Means here sideband is completely transmitted and some part of the another sideband is also transmitted. That is why we are calling it as a vestigial sideband. Vestige means like some part. So in VSB, one sideband is completely transmitted and some part of the other sideband is transmitted. So we can say this VSB modulation represents the a compromise between the SSB and DSB modulation schemes. So here we will see first one is a message signal and next one represents the DSB, which contains the upper sideband as well as a lower sideband. Here one sideband represents with blue color and another sideband represents with a green color. And next one is a SSB, modulation. So in SSB, we will get LSB or USB for the transmission. So here this is the upper sideband. So we are getting the only one sideband only in single sideband. So next one is, so whenever that SSB signal is transmitted to the high pass filter, so only particular some part of the other band also is coming as a output to the VSB. So in VSB, we have seen one sideband completely and some part of the other sideband. So it is the illustration of the vestigial sideband. So now we will see the generation and the demodulation of a VSB. We will see how this VSB will be generated. So in any modulation, we require two signals. That is a one modulating signal and another one is a carrier signal. So modulating signal can also be called as a baseband signal or information signal or source signal. These are the other names for the modulating signal. So I'm giving the modulating signal as an input to the product modulator, and another signal is carrier signal, right? That carrier signal can be generated from the carrier oscillator. So I'm giving the modulating signal and I'm giving the carrier signal to the product modulator. The output of a product modulator is a DSBSC signal. So we know that DSB signal consists of a upper sideband and as well as a lower sideband. That DSBSC signal is transmitted to the sideband filter, and this sideband filter allows only one sideband completely and some part of the other sideband. So at the output side of the sideband filter, we will get the VSB signal. So it is the generation of a VSB. Now we will see the demodulation of a VSB. So I already said demodulation means the reverse process of modulation. So we are getting back the original signal. The input to the product modulator is here VSB signal, and the carrier signals can be generated from the local oscillator, and at the output side of the product modulator we will get the V of t. The inputs to the product modulator are S of t and C of t, and the output to the product modulator is V of t, and this signal V of t is transmitted through the low pass filter. Low pass filter means which allows only low frequencies and it suppresses or ignores the remaining band of frequencies. And at the output side of the LPF, we will get the demodulated signal of the VSB. So that is about the generation and demodulation of a VSB. Now we will see the advantages of a VSB. So it uses a simple filter design and less bandwidth compared to the DSBSC signal, and it is more efficient compared to the single sideband modulation, and possibility of a transmission of low frequency components of modulating signal. And one of the most important application of VSB is we can use this vestigial sideband modulation in TV broadcasting. Very important. We will use this vestigial sideband modulation in TV broadcasting. That is the major application of a VSB modulation. So this is about the vestigial side. Now we will see frequency division multiplexing. So multiplexing means transmitting two or more signal simultaneously through a single channel is known as a multiplexing. So we will use two devices. One is a multiplexer. In simpler form, we can call it as a MUX. And another one is a demultiplexer. In short form, we can call it as a DMUX. So multiplexer, it is a device which combines the several signals into a one signal. And demultiplexer is a inverse operation of a multiplexer. So this demultiplexer gives the multiple signals from the single signal. So that is about the multiplexing. And we are having various types of multiplexing like wavelength division multiplexing, frequency division multiplexing, and time division multiplexing. We will see in next slide. So here you can clearly see the difference between the multiplexing versus non-multiplexing. In the first image A, there is a no multiplexing between the devices, whereas in second picture in B, there is a multiplexing takes place between the devices. So in the transmitter side, we are using the MUX, which is a multiplexer, and at the receiver side, we are using the DMUX. So as I said now, multiplexings are classified into two types. They are analog and digital. In analog, again, they are classified into two types. They are frequency division multiplexing and wavelength division multiplexing. And digital multiplexing means time division multiplexing. So now we will see the frequency division multiplexing. It is a analog technique, and it can be applied when the bandwidth of a link is greater than the combined bandwidth of the signal to be transmitted. So the name itself says frequency division multiplexing. So the multiplexing takes place by dividing the frequency. So time division multiplexing means the multiplexing takes place by dividing the time into different slots. So what happens in this FDM is, suppose if I have a 4 devices, I will give the different frequency ranges to the 4 devices. So at that particular frequency range, that device is only transmitted. If you observe the picture here, the frequencies in kilohertz. So from 1 kilohertz to 5 kilohertz, that frequency is given to the device 1. And from 7 kilohertz to 12 kilohertz, that particular frequency is given to the device 2. And from 14 kilohertz to 19 kilohertz is given to the device 3. And from 21 kilohertz to 26 kilohertz, that frequency is given to the device 4. So different frequencies slots can be given to the different devices, but the time should be same. So you may get the doubt, what happens in between the 5 kilohertz to 7 kilohertz and 12 kilohertz to 14 kilohertz and 19 kilohertz to 21 kilohertz? What is that gap? You may get the doubt. So that gap is called as a God bands, which means that the frequency should not be interference to each other. They should not mix up with each other. So to avoid the interference, a God band should be placed between the two frequency slots. So that's why there is a gap between the frequency slots. And next, so as I said, now it is the principle in FDM signals generated by each device modulate different carrier frequencies, and these modulated signals are combined into a single composite signal that can be transported by the link. So in this picture, you can clearly observe. So we are having a multiplexer and we are having a demultiplexers. In between, we are having 3 channels to transmit that data. So it is the transmitter side of a FDM. So initially we are having the message signal. First one, observe here. Initially we are having the message signal, and that message signal is given to the modulation. So modulation means we require a carrier signal, right? So we are applying the different carrier signals to the different message signal. For the first message signal, we are giving the carrier signal at a frequency of f1, and for the second message signal, we are giving the carrier signal at a frequency of f2, and for third message signal, we are giving the carrier signal at a frequency of f3. So we are having the message signal and we are having the carrier signal. Then modulation takes place and we will get some output there. So the three signals output is given to the summation. So this is about the transmission side of the FDM. Now we will see the receiver. So or demultiplexing, that is multiplexing. This one is a FDM multiplexing and this one is a FDM demultiplexing. Now we will see what happens in the demultiplexer. So in demultiplexer side, the FDM multiplexing output is given to the demultiplexer. Here first we are having a filter which filters required frequencies only and it suppresses or rejects the remaining frequencies, and we will get some waveforms, and that waveforms could be given to the demodulation. We know that demodulation means getting back the original signal. It is a reverse operation of a modulation. So in multiplexing we have used, so in multiplexing side we are using modulator, right? So in reception side in demultiplexing we are using the demodulator. So this is about the FDM demultiplexing, and at the output side of the demodulator we will get the original signal. So that is about the multiplexing. So what are the advantages of this multiplexing? So this FDM does not require any synchronization between the transmitter and the receiver, and it is easy to and it is an easy one, and demodulation also easy, and due to the slow narrow band fading, only one channel gets affected, and it is used for mainly analog signal, and a large number of signals can be transmitted simultaneously. Simultaneously means one by one after one. And disadvantages, the main disadvantage is crosstalk takes place in FDM, and another one is few low speed channels are desired, and intermodulation distortion takes place. We will see the applications of FDM now, and it is mainly used for the broadcasting purpose, and it is used in AM and FM broadcasting, and it is also used in public telephones and in cable TV systems. So this is about the frequency division multiplexing. So that's it for the today's class. In next class, we will see another topics. Thank you for watching.